Good day, Gemini. I hope you all are doing well. It's great to see you. You guys always ask me where Apollo is. He's right there, chilling out in the background. If he chooses to come over, I'll bring him up to say hi. When I do some of these readings, he just wants to relax in the background. If you don't know who I am, my name is Nicholas Ashbaugh. We're going to take a look at the next 6 to 8 weeks. I always read a month in advance. So if you want to get any of the June readings, you can see them right now on the channel. We'll be taking a look at July, but it makes sense to come here early so that you can basically affect your trajectory. This is all about free will. Take a moment too, if you just joined, to go ahead and vote for the deck that you would like to see. This is of course only for those of you that are watching me live. Everybody else, just enjoy whatever they choose because they're all good choices. I choose 4 decks that I like, and trying to bring this back because I think some of you like that. All right, so let's begin with channeled messages. Today there was a lot of things that came through in dreams. More than I was busy this morning sort of taking notes for things. The main sort of totem, and I don't always get an animal totem or an insect totem, but I did for you today. It was a spider. Like I saw spiders upon spiders upon spiders, and I'm not a big fan. I'm not afraid of them either, but I was like, these are a lot of spiders, so we definitely needed to talk about those today. And there's a lot of doors opening up for you, which is kind of exciting. So let's pull up the presentation. We'll talk about it again. This is when the reading begins. I use different modalities, not just cards. Basically, dream interpretation is a big part of my readings at the beginning. And if I don't get enough from dreams, I sit and meditate before I get started so that I can tune in and bring you stuff from my guides and yours, just straight from source, not using a divination medium. All right, so here's what we've got. There's key moments coming up. I actually saw a keychain with 5. I counted the keys on the chain, and so that means some doors will be opening. You may be closing some doors too. We'll get into that. Communication could be really curious. There could be someone playing both sides. And then again, I'll talk about the spider. First things first, the key moments. So in this card, I chose to feature the 2 bookends of the tarot. So we have the Fool here and then the World up here. And the reason that I got this was because I was in an elevator going up and down. It felt to me almost like it was a cosmic storage facility. And there were all these keys. And I knew that there were at least 2 different sort of doors that would lead to things. And those keys were already occupied, which means that there are at least 3 things opening up. We could think of like the 3 of Wands, manifestation. And it could also be 3 of Pentacles, recognition. It could be recovery after difficulty, 3 of Swords. But 3 of Cups could be love. There's a lot of different 3s in tarot. Most of them, and it could also just be a power sort of thing, like Emperor energy. So whatever, Emperor, Empress. So whatever's coming through for you right now, it's pretty good. I think most of the 3s are good. The 3 of Swords, I can just read it as a rebound. This was opportunistic, so I'm not going to even consider anything other than what you're exploring here. So this is a month to actively open some doors, close some. So if you are going through 3 of Swords energy, it would just be about letting go of the past. 3 of Wands, embracing the opportunity and seeing what's there. There may be some old baggage. So the reason that I featured the Fool here was because the Fool carries just the knapsack. You don't need to carry energetically or even physically a lot of stuff. So for those of you that might be sorting through, let's say like you broke up with someone, there's still some stuff around the house that reminds you of them. It might be a time to find a new home for some of that stuff or put it into storage so that there's more space for new things to come into your life. Likewise, if you're just attached to old things from a different version of your life, you might be looking at it and thinking, why am I holding on to that sweater that doesn't fit, that book that I haven't read, I'm probably not going to read, and I look at it and it makes me not feel good. Touch those sort of objects and think to yourself, positive memory or difficult memory, realistic reason for carrying it, or sentimental but not really necessary anymore. And that's going to help you sort through the baggage, because I want you to be able to enter into these new spaces unencumbered. So we'll be looking at, again, it's at least 3 openings, and maybe there's 2 existing things that you're going to re-examine. To me, these key moments look great, and I can't wait to see what the cards show. This was super interesting. I saw somebody it was almost like performative communication, someone that's very good at like oration or public speaking or just kind of like being in front of people. They had 2 different personas. The one that was very friendly, very professional, very together. And then there was another persona where they got exactly what they wanted and they weren't afraid to sort of like have a difficult conversation. This shows your communication potential. Of course, there are times and places where you have to modulate and sort of be more approachable. There are other times where you have to be more assertive, but also be aware of potentially having the Seven of Swords energy in your midst. So if that's somewhere around you, then you want to carry out the energy of justice, which is speak up, speak out, be clear, and lead by example. And if there is something that's wrong, again, maybe find a way to resolve this. I think that your intuition and integrity are going to help you in this. That's why we were being shown this. The two last bullets are the most important here. First and foremost, never underestimate someone else's ability to maneuver or to do something. But on the flip side of this, they may underestimate you. Don't sell yourself short. Your intuition is going to be able to see through that. And you can use an opposite and equally powerful technique, which we talked about: honesty, integrity, clarity. These things are going to get you further. And what I often see with people that are willing to kind of like take that shady road, it doesn't pay off in the long run. They may get a quick win, but they're going to lose a lot more in the long run. So try to walk the high road, try to lean into your integrity and trust in your ability to see. And that's a nice segue into why I think the spiders were everywhere in my dreams. I wasn't nervous. I was more paying attention to like the different species. There were like so many, I couldn't count. I don't even have an idea. Like they were everywhere. It wasn't my house. It was just a house that I was in. And I saw like cobwebs, proper webs, tunnels, and spiders were catching spiders and chasing spiders. And I was like, get me out of here. But anyway, spiders are actually quite lucky. I did put the moon card because they're sneaky, but they're also very magnetic and intuitive. So let's look at all the aspects of it, because when I get a totem, it's neither good nor bad. It's informative. Quick movement. That's something that is important. They wait. Okay, so like they are patient, they are clever, they are prepared. They create the web and they sit there and they wait and they know it's going to happen. So they are manifestors. Very good symbols of magnetic manifestation, ergo the title. So I love all of that about them. They know exactly when to go in for the hunt or the kill, and they get what they want. So basically, not hesitating is going to be another key thing that we can take away from all the spiders. The fact that I saw so many could be competition. It could be an indication that you're around a lot of clever people. So just be mindful of that and be mindful of the importance of acting swiftly. Like a cat, they can land on their feet. Unlike a cat, and kind of unique and singular to them, they can get out of a sticky situation. And I'm not just speaking metaphorically. They literally weave this web that's sticky and they know exactly where to go and they can usually get out of it. So I love that. Be aware of others in your life, aka the Seven of Swords here, that may be weaving their own webs. You're going to be able to see through that, and just like the Justice card, cut through that web. Okay, so I always try to give you the really good stuff, the stuff you need to focus on, and a couple of, red flags that I see. That way you are fully prepared. But the good news here is the spider can also represent you. So you are clever, you are aware, you pick up on the frequencies because they use both their eyes. Not all of their eyes actually see properly. Some of them are just like light or dark. They also pick up on the vibrations of the web. Like they're very tuned into every possible, sense that they have. And I think that that's going to serve you well during this period of time. A lot of information coming through, which means we're probably going to get a lot of information as we take a look at the cards. Let's see which deck those of you that are tuning in live chose for me. The Universal Celtic Cross deck. I love it. I was actually reading for myself with this one earlier. So let me go ahead now and grab that and we'll get started. While I'm doing that, just a quick reminder, if you like what you see, like and subscribe. It's absolutely free. It helps the channel. There's really no reason not to. Sometimes people are worried that subscribing gets them signed up for something. It's not. It's the equivalent of following here. So please consider it. I never understand hesitation on that because, if you like someone, give them that support, and it's a great way for other people to discover too. Okay? Let's get started, folks. We're going to do a quick shuffle and basically take a look at the month ahead. Welcome, everybody. Again, this is for Sun, Rising, Moon, and Venus, any aspect of your chart that you happen to know. And let's just see what the cards have to share and to show. Lots of interesting duplicates that are coming. Well, not duplicates, but like pairs. I normally don't read two at a time, but they're kind of stuck together. So hopefully that's it, because I don't want it to get overly complicated. Got balance coming through, just one of the featured cards, which is always nice when there's a synchronicity. The web coming through with this all tied up card, which is kind of interesting as well. And we have the moth also. All right, so let's just get these arranged a little bit neater. And we're going to talk about the catalyst first. And so for today, your catalyst card is gorgeous. We have the peacock here, divine masculine energy, vibrancy coming through. There's an encouragement with this. It's almost like the male version of the star, to just let your true colors, your true sort of energy shine through. And to be proud of who you are. Whomever and whatever you're doing in your life, it's exactly what you came to this planet to do. These cards are always verbose, so I'll read through it quickly and we'll just pick the key phrases on this one. There's a reminder at the beginning here that you were born to shine and inspire. Like I said, this is very close to the star card. Practice humility and avoid jealousy. I think that it's always great to be humble, but never to sort of be falsely so. If someone gives you a compliment, if someone recognizes you, you can just say, thanks, I worked really hard and that means a lot. That's better than just saying, oh, it was nothing. Never diminish the work you've done. That's actually counterproductive, and people can see through it. So just say, I worked so hard at it and you just made my day. That's actually a better way to handle that. Be grateful for life, and more good things will come. So yeah, just practice gratitude. Be true to yourself and recognize your brilliance. So never underestimate yourself, never undervalue yourself, and don't work for less than what you're worth. That's what I would kind of do to kind of amplify these. We need to just make these less paragraphs, more bullets, so that we can get behind them. So we like the vibrancy, we like the gratitude, and gratitude with the right attitude, with authenticity. That's going to be really good. And one thing that I've been doing lately is when I'm not in a good mood, we all have days, we all have things that trigger us. I really do just think to myself, put a GR in front of your attitude, make it gratitude, be grateful for why you're here, figure out what the blessing is, and figure out how to transmute it or get beyond it. So I always appreciate the fact that I'm triggered, but then I try to figure out how to make it better. And I'm grateful that it's not something that I have to feel all the time. So use gratitude, not attitude. All right. Now let's take a look at the cards here. We got a lot on the table because there were some pairs that came through. Some challenges in the deep past with the Tower and the Hanged Man. Makes sense that they're together. Some opportunities in what's going on in your sort of headspace here with the Nine of Pentacles and the Magician. All good stuff. Some great stuff here, some great stuff. It's all good. Basically, most of the stuff that you're working through is in the past, or some challenges about working too hard in the present. So I'm here to help you with that right now. To that end, let's go ahead and start with a very unusually illustrated Seven of Wands. Normally, the person on the Seven of Wands kind of has their head on straight and is able to sort of juggle a lot of things. We see someone here who's letting other people get under their skin or get in their headspace. So this Seven of Wands is reminding you not to sort of like take the bait, and not to sort of do more than you need to do on certain things. I'm not telling you to slack, but I am saying with the Seven of Wands, there's a chance to work smarter, not necessarily work yourself into exhaustion. So harder isn't always smarter. There's your bumper sticker. Sometimes it's better to just work in a more intelligent and efficient way. So looking for the efficiencies. Here's your traditional Seven of Wands. We see the person here a little bit stressed out, but they know they can manage it. To me, usually the Seven of Wands excels at taking on anything they need to. You may be just a little bit busier than you need or want to be right now, so say no. Delegate, push back, and say no to unnecessary stuff. And if there are people like these little characters on the side getting at your sort of energy, push back, take a deep breath, and think, is it really worth it? You know it's not, but sometimes, easier said than done. The Queen of Wands is coming through to help you out. So maybe literally there could be an advisor in your life, but she's also a personification of your higher self. She is the boss. She has the runes all around her, which, by the way, the Hanged Man is the key to understanding the runes. So basically, this is just learning from the past, applying lessons in the present, and making magic happen. She has a little clover here. Usually it would be a sunflower. Always, she's in a sort of inhospitable place. You would see her in the desert sometimes. Here she's kind of right in front of fire, but she represents fire, so that makes sense. What she always has is usually a cat in front of her. We don't see it here. So the cat, like I said, is your ability to land on your feet, follow your intuition. The flower growing in this place where it shouldn't, or the plant here, represents the ability to create something, especially in a place where you're lacking the support or vision. So you've got this. She's bossy when she needs to be. And so some of you, when I saw the modulation of personifications, like sometimes being kind, sometimes being assertive, definitely leaning into the assertive energy. It's okay right now. People may not expect it, but it might be exactly what's necessary. And I think that's all that needs to be said on that. I do like the clover there. So luck is something that you create. It's a manifestation. It's basically when synchronicity and preparation meet each other. That's quote unquote luck. Because you recognize it and you just go for it. And other people don't necessarily recognize things. And so they may have bad luck, but that's really just a lack of preparation and recognition. So you're going to be prepared and ready because you're watching this. So yay for you. All right, as we look in the deep past, this is what I want to focus on for a moment. We'll look at the top card as the main energy and the one beneath it as the challenge or the historical sort of thing. So in the deep past, we have the Hanged Man. The Hanged Man, of course, is actually auspicious. It's an opportunity to slow down and see what's around you. Typically, you would see a halo around the head of the Hanged Man, which represents insight and intuition. The Hanged Man represents Odin in mythology. Odin hung from the tree of knowledge, I think, to gain understanding of the runes. And we actually see those runic symbols here on this Queen of Wands. So you're exactly where you need to be right now. It may be hard to be patient. Maybe that's something that you've been struggling with or learning to lean into, but just know that the lessons learned, the delays you've experienced, all that jazz, it's part of a larger plan. Now we have what's necessary, what's kind of hidden beneath the surface. So we have the Tower in reverse. The Tower in reverse is a preferred placement, at least the way that I read, because it's basically saying, this doesn't serve me, let's release it, let's get rid of it, let's move on. So the question that is existing now is, have you addressed what you know you need to fix, release, or kind of like, we even see someone breaking something down. So if there's something that if you need to dismantle or take down something from your life, have you done it yet? Pause, finish that, do that first, then move forward, okay? So these cards work together in a nice way, and do it slowly, not quickly. This will help save you from kind of like making a mistake. And if you move too quickly, the Tower can be a little sloppy, so you want to take your time. Here is what's coming through as something also that you might be dealing with right here and right now, since we're watching it in advance of the month. So the Four of Cups is a hidden blessing. Card came through reversed, but if we look at it in the upright position, this is one of the most unique Four of Cups, because instead of the cup floating just out of reach or just out of recognition, this person has pulled the cup in and they're trying to consider something. So I like it. So the Four of Cups is unexpected, hidden, or something where if you don't open up your mind, you won't see it. So disbelief can cloud the ability to see or recognize the opportunity. So meditation and contemplation and presence of mind, everything that we would get by just slowing down, is what's necessary to really bring in this hidden blessing. So Remember the keys. One of the doors shut, you've got at least 3 other keys that are going to open doors. And you probably are going to need to shut 2 of the doors because 2 of them were already like cut. The keys were cut. The other ones were potential ones. So if you need to shut 1 or 2 opportunities, you still have 2 or 3 that are ready. You're going to end up net at the positive from what I could see. So I like that. So consider different options. You're not stuck, as basically what I'm picking up on. Let's look at what's going on with your mind. What's one last thing with this, don't compare yourself to others. Your path, your life, your experiences are yours and yours alone. Okay. In the crowning position, we have, we'll look at the first card and we'll do it upright. We have the 9 of Pentacles, which is independence, self-sufficiency, money, good stuff, basically. Slow and steady, typically. We don't have the snail, but we have these ferns that are gently unfurling as we look at the fronds there. But basically, this is a very introspective card and a very independent card. And so one of the things that I would say, because it came through in the reverse state, is to focus on, for some of you, it could be an offer from afar, from someone else, insight, opportunity, all that stuff might be knocking. But if you're too kind of like focused, pedal to the metal, nose to the grindstone, whatever kind of phrase you want to use, if you're too busy and you're not tuning in, you might miss it. So don't be afraid to accept help or ask for help. If you're lonely or if you want additional information, reach out, get that extra set of eyes and ears on something, okay? Beneath the card, we also have a reversal. So let's just look at this in the upright position. The Magician. You can do this. You have the capacity to bring this to the finish line. Really, discernment and focus is what has to happen when a magician is reversed. Like, A, they need to believe in their ability. So hopefully I'm reiterating the fact that you've got what it takes. And 2, they can't throw the kitchen sink, or in this case, the magician's table at everything. There are 4 different things that they can use: earth, air, water, fire, etc. They have to basically figure out which one's best for this case. So do less, do it better, and don't rush if we were to pull together everything that we've seen so far. And don't be afraid to look at it from a different angle or to ask for help. All of those things will unlock potential for you. But ultimately, this is potential personified, the Magician. Now let's look at what's in the near future, and we have the lovely Sun card. The Sun is also reversed. The Sun is auspicious. It represents birth. It is also power. It's also a playful card, and it's a card of chemistry and charisma. So all of these things are coming through your energy system. With this in reverse, it might be a reminder for many of you not to underestimate your power. And if you've been holding on to something that you want to let go of, whether it's a project, an idea, a relationship, whatever it is, there's something that's ready to be released. So typically there'd be a little baby riding in on a horse. Here we just see the sun rising between the 2 antlers of this majestic creature. So I would say it's important for you to focus on the next thing too. Each day is a reset. And the sun reminds us that every day the sun rises, every day it sets. No matter what we go through in our lifetimes, we get that reset every day. Even on days like today, you can see it's a little overcast. I can't see the sun, but I know it's there. And I know tomorrow there's a chance that it might come out. So we're in our seasonal weather pattern here in Southern California. I was talking on the weekend, we have about 2 months where it's just foggy, like the Bay Area, even in Southern California. So there are times here where there is no sun. It's just foggy and misty today. So for me, I love this card because it's a reminder that even though you can't see it, it doesn't mean that it's not there, right? So have faith. Connect to something beyond the senses. Tune into something more, and that's what this is. See what, like the magician or the high priestess would see beyond the obvious. And that's going to connect you to the abundance because the magician is connected to the 9 of Pentacles, all right? So it's not in front of you. Okay, it could still be en route. It is en route. You have to kind of believe that. All right, let's move on and look at how you're showing up this month. Pretty darn good. We have the Knight of Pentacles riding in on a dragon. We love this. All right, so money, opportunities, potentially even like this could be good news, new job, new contract, something coming in, or you searching for it. I like the power. I like the speed. We talked about speed being important. This is not a time to drag your feet. It's a time to take action. One of the other things that I'm looking at here is kind of like the symbols on the ground. So paying attention to things that are, like if you go too fast in any moment, you might miss what's going on. So making sure that throughout your busy day that you are taking time to slow down and to see what's going on and check in with yourself as well. Nights basically are not passive. So if you're not seeing what you want, try something else. If that's not working, try something else. Keep exploring. I have a phrase which is to follow the energy, see where the energy's at. So this is a time to not waste time, sort of like, it's like when you're in mud. You don't want to just keep pushing the wheels, you go deeper into the mud. You have to take a pause and see if there's another way out or another way through. And that's going to be the best thing you can do. But a Knight of Pentacles represents power, movement, and bringing in more resources. And by the way, if you're working on anything, this is super productive, so I like it. What's going on around you? There could be someone that is going through a lot. The King of Cups can represent a friend or loved one that needs a lot of support. You could also be a little bit more sensitive or overwhelmed than usual. So slowing down enough to take care of yourself is going to be key with this. A reminder that you can't fix or fill up everyone else's energetic cup. That's up to them. You can be there as a, to lend a helping hand or listening ear, but ultimately they have to sort of like, they have to be ready to want to do more, and just don't overdo it is what I'm saying with this one. You may need a creative outlet. We've talked about this, I feel like, a couple times over the past week. So whether it's something traditional like talking to a therapist, or it's artistic, or it's sports, I don't care. But usually when the energy is pent up a little bit like that, there has to be something to push it through so that you can get back into the balanced state. That's the most important thing so far that I'm seeing with that. If you're working in an office or school, or you're living in a roommate or partner situation where it's charged, and that's what I'm seeing, you want to try to discharge that or pull yourself back a little bit until that energy evens out. What is the opportunity this month? It's just like I said, you basically got the divine masculine and feminine version. So the masculine version is the peacock. The feminine version is the star. The star is reversed, so the opportunity is to not edit yourself so much. The star card is confident, is filled with integrity, and has no sort of like shame or issues with being who they are. So the more unfiltered, but in the best way, not sort of like just saying everything, but being your authentic self. That's going to be the key to success. It's going to help you stand out from the crowd as well. Additionally, what I would say with the star in reverse is if you're put in the hot seat, like at work, school, or somewhere in your life where someone says, hey, what do you think? Don't retract. You have what it takes. Remember everything we talked about. Speak with integrity, kind of walk the high road, and just trust in your wisdom. They're wanting your opinion for a reason. There may be a chance for you to really make a splash this month, and that's good. If you're looking for love or looking for a great opportunity, there's a soul alignment with this. So you might be finally able to manifest sort of like a dream job or a dream relationship or a dream connection. Star is very closely connected to source, so I like that. In the outcome, we have the 10 of Wands, completion. The 10 of Wands is reversed, and this 10 of Wands is super unusual. They're blindfolded. Sometimes when we don't realize how far we've come. And I kind of get what the illustrator was going after with this. It is sort of like, I'm also getting sort of, there may be a lack of vision or leadership, and you feel like you're just reaching for the next thing. So I feel like you're going to finish without a problem, even though it is a little bit uncomfortable. But it would be advisable to take a step back, and this is going to help you with gratitude. It's also going to help you not feel so fatigued. But take a look and see how far you've come. Look at everybody that's been there in the pivotal pieces of the journey, and look at how you've overcome a lot of the challenges as well. Again, so you're never underestimating your potential. I'm going to pull the traditional card here, because the other thing that the 10 of Wands will show us is the capacity sometimes to take on too much stress or strain. So if you need to take a couple of steps back and let go of it, you're going to be okay. This is an interesting suit, because Wands, you can typically do less and still do okay. So you can move back to the 8 of Wands, the 6 of Wands, the 4 of Wands, the 2 of Wands. All of them are good for doing something. So you can take a few steps back or a big step back so you can focus a little bit, all right? It doesn't work that way in the other suits so much. But in this one, they're all pretty good. There are some that are better than others, but you can do less but do it better if you need to. Typically with the 10 of Wands, it's just about pushing through to the finish line. But if you are exhausted, if you feel like you don't know what you're doing or why you're doing it, stop. Stop for a second and get your bearings rather than making a mistake in the final leg of the journey, okay? I still see it as a good card, but a couple of caveats as we look at it. It could be a good time to travel, especially if you need additional insight or you need a face-to-face communication. 10 of Wands can be a travel card, usually shorter term travel, but travel nonetheless. All right, let's go ahead now and expand this forecast. We're going to go into the areas of health, wealth, love, and destiny. Each is multifaceted. A reminder that I help you look at the energy. If you have specific needs with finances, with your health, or with anything else in your life, you're obviously going to work with a professional. But that being said, let's go ahead now and focus on mind, body, and spirit and see what the energy of mind, body, and spirit is telling us. So we got the balance card, and that's connected to justice. And that was one of the things that I showed you with justice and the fool. Well, actually, I'm sorry, justice and the 7 of swords. I used the fool and the world card. All of those were things that I picked up on. So this was a way to overcome anything that was not going the right way in your life. So if someone is speaking or doing something that is out of line, it's really important for you to do what you need to do to bring that into balance and into check, and also your life in general. So it could be work-life balance. It could be saying no to something. It could be holding someone to be more accountable and basically say, we agreed on something else. I don't know why you're doing this. Why are you doing this? So all of those things are part of this. But the most important piece, we can just take it at face value. Does this bring more joy and balance in your life, or does it take you out of that feeling of balance? Okay, let's look specifically at some cards and some meanings around this with respect to health. For many of you, as I said earlier, you could be holding on to something longer than you need to. The Sun card is kind of like, when you're overdue to give birth to someone rather, or to let go of something in your life. Like you were supposed to get a job, you're supposed to get a promotion, etc. Or someone was supposed to reach out to you and they didn't. This card is saying, okay, why am I holding on to this if it's not happening? So now is the time to take action or to let something go or to release something into the world. I'd love for you to focus on taking care of your feet, ankles, and lower extremities. Whenever we have the Hanged Man or 5 of Pentacles, there can be sensitivity in that area. So be careful, especially if you're doing any sports, heavy lifting, or moving too quickly. This can be a twisted ankle with the Hanged Man and the Tower. So wear more supportive shoes when you need to do that. That's something that I've learned to do as well. And slow down and ask for help. You don't have to do it alone. Let's see what else we want to focus on. The Magician in reverse can also be paying attention to what you're putting into your mind, body, and your environment, because it has a way, like, whether it's sort of listening to things that are like charged on television or the radio or podcasts. If there's a lot of people arguing back and forth, that energy is agitating. It's not good for you. This also has to do with toxins in food and environmental factors. So make sure that you're not sort of engaging in any of that stuff. It can even be sort of temptation or addiction. So really moving back from things like that so that you can focus on the things that matter. There's a lot of great energy around abundance that wants to come through. This has to do with your solar plexus. So also working on strengthening the solar plexus through breathing and exercise is key. Otherwise, I like what I see here. I think the main thing is watch where you're going and slow down, because we've got a blindfolded person here in the final leg of an important journey. And we have 2 cards saying if you don't slow down, you could make a misstep, and we don't want that to happen. Mostly, I like what I see here, and I think it's all manageable. Okay, so let's move on from the health to wealth messages, resources, life purpose, and career. This is where some of you may be frustrated. So we have Typhoon here, or Typhoon, and it's about energy and around anger and rage. Some of you may be looking at others and thinking, why did they get it and not me? I love this 4 of Cups because it's antithetical. It's the opposite of this. And this 4 of Cups is saying it's okay to be upset. Just don't let it get the better of you. Tune in, go within. That's going to be your best friend. That's going to save you time and missteps and energy down the line. And in the traditional Four of Cups, again, you might miss it because you're so focused on, well, they have it and I want it. And, it's kind of like a little kid. We learn this over time. If you've ever been around, like a 4-year-old or 5-year-old, whenever they start to learn, but they're like, I want it now. It isn't like that in real life. Or if they see someone else got something shiny and new, they want it. And so don't compare yourself to someone else. It typically just leads to that feeling of frustration. And you don't know if the other person really likes what they have anyway, or how hard they had to get work to get there. We look at this traditional card, you can just see how grumpy that person is. That's not what we want to do. We want to kind of move beyond that and think, how can I move from jealousy to inspiration? That's one thing that you can do. If you look at someone in your life and they've done something amazing, you can think to yourself, if they did it, I wonder if I can do it. I think I can do it. I can do it. Now, how am I going to do it? Then you start to do the research. And instead of being someone that you wish, like, why them and not me, think, why not me? Let's focus on this. Let's develop. Let's work. Maybe I can do something even different or better than what they did. So let them be a point of inspiration. And that's a great way to kind of transmute the energy. Let's look at some other things here and see what might be going on with respect to your environment right now when it comes to work and money. What I will say first of all is I like the ability for you to create something of value and of worth. Magician and Nine of Pentacles. This is highly sought out. This is good skills. Great ability to work with others. But you may be someone who just doesn't want to be bossed around. This is bossy, and this is someone who doesn't want to listen to the boss. So there may be friction in that sort of mentorship energy. Someone doesn't want you to do your own thing, or you just don't want to be told what to do. It can cut both ways as well. Some of you are just tired of being in the same place for so long, whether it's a place that you're living, studying, or working. Hanged Man and Tower is like, I'm overdue for change. And it's sort of like you want to make something happen, and you can if you want to. Creative energy coming across like super loud right now. And that makes sense for Gemini. You guys can see things from so many perspectives. You're highly creative. So I feel like the next thing in your life, if it's not already happening, needs to allow you to be more creative, more expressive. And some of you are just saying, show me the money with the Knight of Pentacles and the Nine of Pentacles. And I'm all for it. Just make sure that you don't give an ultimatum without having a safety net. So it does look like it's the right time to move for something higher. Just make sure that you have that in the hip pocket before you decide to give notice or approach someone. I think you can have a conversation first and say, hey, where are we at on this? But if they're consistently not coming forth with it, find something else if you need to. For those of you that are unemployed or retired, if you're unemployed right now, it feels like one of the best things that you could do is to, this is about self-care, but it's also about having fun and making, the whole thing of job searching can be very exhausting. So this is also about making sure that there are things that are bringing joy in your life, and you're making sure that the next thing that you're looking for, it's almost like shopping for a house or shopping for clothes, that it fits better, that it's a better fit than where you were before. And then that can bring a little bit of joy into the process. Retirement, we're seeing the desire to want to do something for yourself. This is being reborn, the baby card here, and then the star card. So you don't have to, nobody gets to boss you around now. You get to kind of choose what you want to do. And there might be even a chance for some of you to, this can be part-time work. This can be someone that wants to pay you for your advisor abilities, or just some travel. Some of you just want to travel as well. And even if you're job searching, you might want to look outside of where you would normally search, your city, state, or province. There might be something abroad that could bring in some opportunities. I keep looking at this vibrancy card. Make sure that you're not underselling yourself on the resume. I don't want you to oversell either, but just make sure that you're using solid words and really putting yourself out there, because the peacock energy is not about being sort of like in the background or a wallflower on that. Ultimately, though, if you are dissatisfied with where you're at, this card is saying get out before the Ten of Wands becomes like the Ten of Swords. It's time to start searching and start looking, and this isn't what you were looking for or what you had originally thought of. So I'm all for avoiding this sort of energy in the long run. All right, let's move on to love and relationships. We have, to me, what is indicative of the spider that I saw earlier. So we have all tied up. To me, this is like feeling like you're caught in someone else's web. I mentioned earlier to be aware of not really connecting too much to that, if possible, not allowing someone to kind of like guilt you into something or convince you into doing something, or kind of like staying free of the gossip and all of that stuff, I think is going to be really important. So let's look at the cards here and see the 3 different levels of relationships that I normally like to break down. Before I do that, let me take a drink and we'll see what's coming through. Okay. So for those of you in an existing relationship, we'll do in a relationship, looking for love, or single and happy. In a relationship, I like to look at it on 2 levels, healthy, stable relationship and one that may need some work. For those of you that are in a healthy, stable relationship, there may be something really new and exciting. The sun is a pleasant and positive change, but it's necessitated a slowdown. And for some of you, you've had to rebuild or reassess sort of like what was important. So of course, a new job, a new baby, anything that is important and positive, but it also brings these changes, like potentially a move. Maybe there's been renovations in the space that you're in as well. Letting the dust settle is going to be really important, but gosh, I love these. I didn't even notice this until now. We have nicely aligned energy, 2 stars. I don't really talk about twin flames. I think that's been talked out and played out. I like the idea of a twin star, someone who's got the same ability to shine and be resonant just like you. So we have 2 really strong personalities. Just like if I pulled the Empress and the Emperor, the star and the sun are in that same resonance, but even a little bit better, and definitely have a karmic relationship. So the good of the relationship is that karmic connection, the ability to have weathered a few storms in a few lifetimes. The challenge right now is there's a lot of changes going on, and one or both partners are trying to find their way, and there may not be a real clear way to figure out where that's all at right now. So focus on being there for each other and knowing that when one shines, the other is shining. Remember what I was talking about with the fog here in Southern California. Just because you can't see the sun doesn't mean that it's not there. Focus though on affirming and appreciating one another. That's going to be important. It's been a common thread as well. Money could be one of the key topics that you need to sort out, and you're going to make it work. That's sort of what the Magician and the 9 of Pentacles are saying here. I like overall what I see here. I think most relationships can deal with or rise to whatever challenge might be presented. For some of you, there could be something from the past. So these are more the relationships that could be in crisis or challenge. There's something that maybe was being avoided. It can't be avoided anymore. The Tower is basically saying that until you firm up the foundation, everything else is a house of cards. So slow down and deal with the thing that's bothering you most. If I have to pick at what this might be for some of you, when I'm looking at the environment, it could just be hurt feelings or emotions. For some of you, again, it could be this feeling of you said you were going to do something, or I thought this was going to be a certain way. It's disillusionment. None of these are major. I'm not picking up on like devil energy or things like that. It's just sort of like as relationships mature, there's work that has to be done. And sometimes the work is more than you anticipated. So for some of you, you're willing to put it in. For some of you, you may not be. That's a choice that you have to make. The good news is we have a very good card in the near future, and you're going to be able to get through any challenges. Whether you decide to do it with your partner or alone, you'll be all right in the long run. Okay? Now, as we look at those of you that are seeking out love, yes, you can find it. Not just that, but you could find exactly what you're looking for. Love is not just romance. It's not just, this, by the way, love is everything. It's your dog, it's your child, it's your best friend. So this could be the manifestation of a best friend. It could be a child that brings great love into your life. It could be an animal that brings great love. It could be a project that you deliver to the world that is received very nicely and brings great love and lauding from others. So I see love coming in, and it feels very deep here and very sort of easy to recognize. So Apollo's still in the background, thankfully. When I was looking for a pet to adopt, I got him in 2017. He was a couple years old, so he's a senior now. He doesn't look like it, but he's a senior dog. And my mom was still alive when I did the adoption. He's a rescue. She was with me, and we both looked and were like, is that him? Because that was like our heart skipped a beat for a second. We had to go and meet. It's very difficult in LA to get a rescue. At least it was at the time. This was pre-pandemic. So like you have to go through all this paperwork. I had to make a video. They had to look at me. We had to talk on the phone. Eventually I got to meet the dog, and she wanted to make sure the dog liked me. I liked that they were so picky on the process, but it was love at first sight. I was like, oh my God, he's adorable, and he's so kind and so sweet. That's exactly what I was looking for. And then it was a little bit difficult at the beginning because he wouldn't eat or drink. I got him to drink after 3 days. It took me almost a week to get him to eat. And he was hiding under the bed because he was mistreated, and he was really afraid, and he was super shy because of all of the stuff that happened before I got him. Eventually, he's become like this comfortable, wonderful little baby in the background. But it took a lot of work. Relationships take work. It was worth the work for him. So just a little piece that kind of connects the previous thread to this one. It was love at first sight, but it was a lot of work too. This is like what would be traditionally in like magic a familiar. I know we've had other lifetimes, and I kind of reached out into the way beyond, the great beyond, and I connected and I waited to recognize him too. So there were 2 other dogs that I tried to connect with, and it just didn't work out, like cancellations and things. And then the 3rd time was a charm. So, but my mom recognized it too. She's like, he's it. And when I had challenges, she's like, no, that's what you've been waiting for. She was intuitive too. So just know you could meet that connection. It could be the dream job, the dream dog, the dream child, the dream lover, whatever it is that you've been looking for, but it may not be perfect. It's not everything, and not everything's going to be wrapped up. It's not a fairy tale. That's what this was about. I've had to multiple times change up his diet. He's going through some challenges with some other stuff right now. I'm constantly like working to make sure that he's okay, because he came already with some challenges from the past, but that didn't diminish the blessing that he brings in the present. It just meant that I have to be more sensitive to his needs. Like he was hit by a car before I got him, so he has like plates and screws in his hips. So I'm doing special stuff now to make sure that the joints are okay and things like that. So just know that you might meet that deep love, but there may also be some things that you have to bring forward. Relationships are work, but he gives me a lot back in return. So you get to kind of weigh it out. I just wanted to let's get real. It's not all fairy tales and rainbows and unicorns. I wore a unicorn shirt yesterday, but it's not all rainbows and unicorns. There's sometimes some work to do in the relationship. So that's what I'm seeing here for some of you, but it might be worth it, okay? Not what you expected, but maybe more so in some areas. Okay, what else do we need to talk about? I think that's it. The only thing that I would say for those of you that are looking for love, there's a lot of energy around work that's coming through, and it feels like you need to finish up something first, so please do that. Single and happy, good time to be single and happy, great time to travel. People are going to be interested in connecting with you. Good time to do public speaking. I saw oration or teaching or mentorship in my dreams last night for you, which is great. Some people want to hear your story. They want to really connect with what you have to say, so that's great. Some of you are thinking of moving. You've been wanting to move for a while. The move is going to come through if you're ready. This is true of all of you. Like, this is an overdue move or change. If not now, then when? That's really what the cards are saying across the board. Let's move on to destiny. Your destiny card is transformation. It's the death card in reverse, or in this case, the moth. So if I get a moth or butterfly, it's basically saying you've already moved through the chrysalis or cocoon stage. So this is what happens after. It takes a little while to settle into the changes. This is a very nocturnal card. So it might take a little bit longer for you to sort of recognize and realize. Sometimes, have you ever noticed you can see things for others before they do? You're not surprised when they're in love with someone, or when they quit, or when they say something. It's like, yeah, thank you. I've been ready for you to say this. So other people may see the change before you. Don't be surprised if that's the case. Your dreams have a chance to take flight, which is also a piece with this as well. Pay special attention to your dreams. I was chatting with a friend this morning, and all I have to do to remember my dreams is to write down like 3 to 5 words. So I put down like 5 keys, keychain, elevator, 2 doors, and that was it. Like I was like, oh yeah, I remember. 2 doors had the key, the other one didn't. I was going up and down in an elevator. I don't write out the whole dream, just I can remember it by a very few. And then I was like, lots and lots and lots of spiders everywhere for the other one. I was like, yes, I remember that. So write some key notes for your dreams, 3 to 5 words, maybe a sentence or two, because I'm half asleep when I'm doing it. I don't want to sit there. I don't want to go so far that my eyes adjust and I can't see it. For the communication, I actually just wrote down theater of politics because it struck me as a politician. It was very theatrical. And then I was like, oh yeah, it's someone that's playing both sides. I could have put playing both sides. That's it. Then you can always write a little bit more when you wake up. You need to do just enough. It's like a bookmark, a dream mark. Do just enough to do a dream mark so you can come back in there and say, oh yeah, let's go. Okay, I was looking at this. So the key things, that's all you need to do as a little tip for those of you that like to dream journal. Otherwise, you're going to lose sleep. You can also dictate into your phone or a recorder and just say, okay, I was doing this, and this, and put the recorder down, and then that's enough. All right. Let's take a look at the next piece now. We're going to go into Sun, Rising, and Moon and see what the cards have to show. Alrighty, let's get started with sun sign messages. We have the Chariot. Chariot is always auspicious, even in the reverse state. It is giving you permission. You don't need my permission or encouragement to do an about face, to do something different, to take a different road if you want to. So go where your heart tells you need to go, and you should feel a sense of optimism and like just excitement. And that was one of the things that I knew when I was no longer on a path that served me. I'm like, yeah, this isn't it. I don't want to get up. Or if I went for a vacation, came back, I thought, I don't think I want to come back. So are you excited about the path that you're taking? I want you to be like those Mustangs or wild stallions going forward and saying, yeah, this is it. So that you almost can't contain your excitement. It can't always be that way, but at least a sense of this is exciting. This is engaging. I want this. The reversal of this can be people coming in and questioning your motives, your decisions, etc. Remembering that one of the whole reasons that this is coming through is for you to be able to reclaim power. So think through decisions before you do them. Share them with people that you know will be supportive, and don't worry if people don't always get it. That's part of, like I said, part of being a leader sometimes is being on that cutting or bleeding edge. But do you like your direction in which you're headed? That's really what the Chariot reversed is saying. Don't be afraid to take the action to course correct. Don't let someone else take the reins from you, and fight for what matters. This is ultimately a battle sort of card too. So don't be afraid to go to battle if it's something that you want to do. All right. The Chariot's a very powerful card, sometimes misunderstood or not appreciated. So direction, passion, and clarity of why you're doing it, I think, is going to be the most important thing. You can surprise people with your leadership potential, and you can take charge if you're ready. All right. It's never too early or too late to change your mind or change your direction. So if you're a student 1 semester in, you don't like your major, perfect time to do it. If you're a student 4 years in and you're like, I don't like what I did, well, then you can always reapply those skills to something different. You can always go on to an advanced degree. So I did that. I studied, my focus in undergraduate was journalism and English. Public relations actually is what I kind of specified in. And then I did an internship and I thought, I don't like this. And so then I went to school for film and editing, and I liked that a lot more. But I brought together sort of like the journalism and the English was always something that I liked. Reporting or communicating was it. It was just never going to be PR for me. So I just leaned into the core skills rather than the specialization, which was maybe only 10 or 15% of my classes anyway. But I learned how to create choppy copy, like quick little bursts, which help me on like Twitter and stuff like that. Nothing's a waste. You never know. So wherever you're at right now, if you need to pivot. It'll all come together and come into focus later. You haven't wasted time. As long as you recognize where you're at and you repackage and embrace what you have. You never know where this is going to come into play in the future. So put that into your journal and remember that Nicholas said this. It wasn't a waste of time. It may take 1 year, 3 years, 5 years. It may take 5 days, but it's going to come together. One of my worst jobs ended up being an entryway into one of my best jobs because they were looking for someone that had dealt with somebody and I had, and they're like, oh, we have a challenge. We want you, come in. So you never know. So focus on going in the direction that's right. Everything else will come together eventually. Moving on to the rising and ascendant, we have the moon. First time I've seen it in this deck. It's still a fairly new deck. So the moon comes through to enlighten, to show us what we need to deal with. I mentioned that the spider I connected to the moon, so there may be some tricky stuff that you're dealing with, but you're going to be able to identify it and make the most out of it. Facing your fears, facing your dreams, and staying on the path in front of you. This card is lacking typically the wolf and the coyote, or the wolf and the dog rather. And so for you, maybe you've moved beyond the need to compete or compare, and that's good because that was one of the messages that I said earlier. Divine feminine energy, instinct and intuition, all components of this card. Those are the powerful pieces this month to pay attention to. Avoid competition, avoid anything that compromises your integrity, and you'll be fine. All right, so those are the messages for rising and ascendant. All right, let's move on to the moon. And what we have here is success, personified by the Six of Wands. Very Lord of the Rings-esque Six of Wands, almost directly out of the Lord of the Rings. So what we see here is the ability, again, to not follow but lead. And so what that means for many of you is maybe you've achieved a level of success, or again, you're looking up to someone who's been really successful and you're like, how am I going to do it? You're going to do it by simply being the best version of yourself. And some people will follow, some people will fall away, but the ones that are there are the ones that you can trust. So this is doing the right thing because it's the right thing, not because it's the popular thing. Ultimately, though, let's not read too much into it. It just shows that you can be successful at whatever you put your energy into this month. So don't underestimate or second guess or get in your headspace too much when it comes to all of those things. All right, really great messages across the board. I mean, they're all power cards when we look at them here. The Chariot, we talked about direction, the Moon, which is embracing your intuition, and the Six of Wands, knowing that you can accomplish that, whatever you want to set out to do. So I love that. All right, before we get into the final portion again, just a reminder, if you like what you see, hit the like and subscribe, opt into the bell so you never miss a future reading. Give me a follow on social media as well. Just a quick reminder that it's always my full name, Nicholas Ashbaugh, and I don't give private readings. If you ever need more information, you can go to my website or to the About tab here. Advanced thank you to everybody that gave back as far as like super stickers, super chat, or membership. I know we got a bunch of new members from the weekend, so welcome everybody. Let's get ready now for the meditation. And then at the very end, what I do is a final card. So I'd love for you to stick around. You've been here so far. This is just about 3 more minutes, and this is where the magic happens. So we're going to meditate and clear something, and then we're going to focus on a question that you have that I haven't had a chance to address yet. So think about that, jot it down, close your eyes if you will, and let's tune into your mind, your body, your energy for a second. So nice and deep breath, please. On the exhale, letting go of any tension, frustration, or lower frequency energies you might be holding on to. There you go. Much better. Let's focus on the energy of the moon and the stars, since those were coming through. So I'd like you to imagine that you are maybe just laying down on a field of grass outside, nice warm summer day, or summer night rather. The sun is just set. You can still feel the warmth on the planet, which is nice, so it's not cold outside. And the moon is just starting to take sort of like its place in the sky. Around you, you can see fireflies, and you start to see the night stars coming into focus. Close your eyes for a moment and just bask in that gentle energy from the moon. It's silver, it's light, it's basically just this sort of canopy of protection around you. And because the moon is great for helping you look within, If there's anything that you've forgotten, maybe a dream, a wish, a secret talent, I want you to get back into touch with that part of your energy and know that in the presence of the moon, it's safe. It's just reflective energy here. And if there's something that you want to cultivate, see it starting to come through in the heart space, and allow yourself to feel that you have the capacity. You are safe, you are capable, you are ready, and you're able to receive. And just imagine that you're this big satellite dish kind of opening up to the lessons from the moon tonight, and whatever it needs to say or teach you, it will bring through in this meditation. For those of you that have difficulty in envisioning things, just focus on the feeling of being safe and protected. And that's it. We don't need to do a lot in this meditation. Just relax and receive a blessing. And then we're going to take a look at your final question after we do this, okay? So just breathe, and I'll be back in a couple of minutes. All right, take a moment now to just really kind of reconnect with the idea that you are capable. Not only are you capable, but whatever the dream is, whatever the intuition is, that it is within reach. Almost like you could just reach out and pull that moon into your heart. The same thing with whatever dream or vision is right in front of you. So imagine that you are one step away from accomplishing the next big sort of bucket list item in your life, and feel this sense of empowerment, capability, and just feeling excited, because I want to build up that engagement that we saw in the Chariot card. All right, please, on the next natural exhale, if you would be kind enough to open your eyes, gently come back into your body. Maybe take a moment here to rub your hands together, place them over your heart, and just breathe one last breath and open your eyes. Giving yourself a little bit of gratitude for being present today, for taking time out of your schedule to work on yourself, for reconnecting with things that matter to you. All of those things are important. All right, we're going to focus now on your final question that you have for me. Just with eyes open, mind focused, ask the question silently, and let's see what the universe has to say. Well, we got our Three of Pentacles. I mentioned earlier the magic of three. I was curious how it might manifest. It came through in the Three of Pentacles. So the Three of Pentacles is great because it shows recognition is incoming. For some of you, that recognition is overdue. This is also a card of mastery. So for those of you that might be studying or working on something new or trying to really understand something, this represents the integration of that skill set, of that new thing in your life. Keep it up. Finish what you've started. This is also higher education and training. So for any of you that want to go back, we talked about that. If you want to go back and get some training or schooling, this card is perfect for that. This is also connected with writing and mentorship and teaching. So some people may seek you out because of the words, because of the teachings, because of the things that you put out there. So there's nothing not to like about the Three of Pentacles. It's one of the universally best cards you can pull. I really can't think of a bad thing, especially when it's upright. It's all good. So it's good. This would be an affirmative. If you're asking for, is it a yes, no, this is a yes. It's saying yes, put it into writing and put it into action. Look at how he's sort of energetically connecting to what looks like Stonehenge. So I see it's work your magic, call it in, focus, and so get things started. And sometimes that begins with just a list of things that we want to do. Hey, buddy. And Apollo just got up, so we'll bring him up for a second. I don't always do that. I kind of let him decide if he wants to be seen, and he does. Thank you, Apollo, for allowing us to see you today. Thanks to all of you for being present today. A reminder for my schedule, and then I'm going to call out everybody that gave back. I'm here every Monday, Thursday, and Friday. I always try to post the schedule the day before, and the time during the week is usually around 11 or 11:30. On the weekends, it's around 9 or 9:30. So you'll always know the night before, and you can always put a reminder on your schedule. So thank you so much. I also do daily card reads as well. Okay, I'm going to take a moment to welcome the new members, say thanks to anybody that gave a sticker, and then I'll look in the chat and see who we already have as a member and say hello as well. All right, so for the folks that just joined today, let's see if we've got any new folks. And if not, I will move to the other things here. So we do have a couple of new folks here. Dr. Erica, Summer, and MC. Many of you rejoined, a few of you joined for the first time. Good to have all of you here. I appreciate your presence. Welcome. I'll probably do another members video either this week or weekend, and I'll ask you guys what you want, so keep an eye on the member tab for that. All right, so let's go ahead and say thanks to anybody that gave a super sticker or super chat. It's all optional, but it does help, and it helps me get supplies and prepare for upcoming projects like the podcast and things like that. So we have 3 people that gave back today. Thank you to all of you, but Monica, Renita, and Sammy, you guys rock. You all gave the same amount. I love it. Thank you so much, Geminis, for coming through today and making this special. Additional welcomes here for all of my other members here. Sapo, Jill, Elizabeth, I know you, Diane, and I think, let's see, we've got a few other ones here. Laura, and anyone else? Tahoe, hey Tahoe, good to see you. And Diane, and let's see, still a few more up at the top here. Lalitha, Monica, I think I got everybody. If I missed anybody, let me know in chat. But I think I got all of the members that are here. Omniscient, thank you. Good to have all of you here. Thanks for being a part of this. Thanks to all the new members, especially for those of you that gifted some memberships. I think Tahoe, you were one of those. So thank you to everybody that helped expand the community. Great to have you here. I hope you have a great month ahead, a great week ahead. I'll see you again on Thursday and Friday for the monthlies and every day for the dailies. And maybe there'll be a surprise one this week. So keep an eye on that tab. Like I said, we'll figure out what the topic will be on what day. In the meantime, wishing you lots of love and light, and I'll see you all real soon. Bye-bye.